Hi there guys, and welcome to my latest Train Sim 2017 video. You should notice improved audio because this will be the first video with a new headset. Today we're doing, well, quite an asked video actually. I think 2 or 3 people have asked for 321 on the Great Eastern Main Line. And as I have the manual for the 321, I thought I would do a little mini-series focusing on the 321 and the DPsimulations scenario pack. It's SP03, and this is the one scenario pack for the Great Eastern Main Line. Today's just a quick run from Ilford Depot ECS to Liverpool Street, and that will form the next service, which will be the next video. I'll play these through in a series for you, and hopefully the sound is better. While we're doing this, I will be going through the manual. I'll be reading out general information about the class, technical specs, what to do if things went wrong. As this is the Armstrong Powerhouse 321, it is incredibly well modelled and detailed, and systems are all there. So what I'll generally be doing is talking you through bits and pieces. We'll go through driving techniques, everything from economical driving to door controls to door procedures, all that sort of thing, and that'll be throughout the series. I think there's about 4 scenarios, so I think it'll be about 4 bits to this. So let's get started and we'll see how we go. First thing we're going to go through is the general information, which comes in the first part of the manual that comes for the train. That isn't a manual that comes with the Armstrong Powerhouse train. This is from the real 321. It is the British Rail manual. It's BR 33056/294 issue 1, if anybody is interested. I know some of you out there will be. So let's get going. Good morning, driver. We are currently awaiting a path out of the depot. Okay, cool. That gives us time to set up. So let's stick that there. Let's have our mark lights on day. Let's switch to the rear cab, which we should have done first, but we won't worry about that. Tail lights on. So that is pretty much us ready to go. We've got a red. I'll keep the DRA on since we've got a stop signal. Everything else is as it should be. I think we're an 8 car. Are we 8? Yes, got 4 cabs. We will set. I'll go through the destination indicator actually from the manual as well, because this is actually the one that they came with. We're empty. We're not empty to depot. We're empty, so we're not in passenger service. But there isn't a thing like a code for that. So let's go for empty to depot, even though we're empty back from depot. 5551. So C5551. Enter. 66 coming past. So now should be empty depot with all our lights on. Excellent. Let's wait and see what happens. I'll start doing the manual stuff when we've pulled out of here, more mainly because there are some danger aspects on the way, some yellows and things like that I'm expecting. So for those of you who don't know, that is the 317 that's available on UK Train Sim. It's not the best in the world, but it does fill a gap for a 315 or a 317. These days I'd like to see a 313 repaint of the 315 just to keep us going until wagons do actually release the 315, which they are in the process of. As of yesterday, which was the 6th of February, they posted up a Facebook post saying that they were still working on it and it was going quite well and it looks amazing. Right, we have the road. Let's get going. Silly me, should have taken the DRA off. So, the Class 321s. Class 321 trains are a 4-car electric multiple unit which operate on the British Rail 25 kV 50 Hz AC overhead system. They're very similar to the Class 317 and 319 trains and have air suspension, 3-step air operated disc brakes, sliding doors and a public address system. Electrical equipment is supplied by Brash Electrical Machines Limited, and the trains are built by British Rail Engineering Limited at their York works. Each unit consists of a driving trailer composite, which is a DTC, at one end, and a driving trailer standard, so DTS, at the other, and then in the middle you've got a pantograph motor standard, PMS, and an auxiliary trailer standard, ATS, is marshalled in between them. So I'm just going to keep an eye out here because we left that depot on a single yellow. Looks like we've got a yellow again, but we'll not be too hasty. So the Class 321 trains are fitted with a tight lock couplers and a gangway between individual vehicles of each forecast set, but not between coupled 321 units. Well, that is ours, perfect. WLO. So what that basically means is there's no gangway on the front. There is a gangway in between the coaches, so you can transfer between, but not on the front. Class 321 units are fitted with tight lock couplers. I've just read that bit, plumber. The pantograph is Bretman Willis and is pneumatically controlled and operated when a pan up reset button is pushed. Air is admitted to a raising cylinder which acts on the pantograph to raise it. Also, it maintains it in contact with the overhead wire. The air cylinder acting in similar manner to an air suspension airbag on a vehicle bogie. Conversely, when the pan down push button is depressed, air is vented from the system at a controlled rate and the pantograph gently lowers. So that's these buttons. Where's the pan up button on these? Here. There's pan down button, pan up button. Right, double yellow's just gone to green, so we've got to 40. So remembering this manual is from about 1989 or 1990, I think. It says, like most recent EMU builds, which of course is not true at all because it's not recent. The Class 321 pantograph is fitted with an auto dropping device, or the ADD, to drop the pantograph if the head carbons are damaged or become detached. An overheight protection device is also fitted to ensure that if a pantograph is raised in an unwired territory, it will automatically lower and stay in the down position until an overheight valve is reset by maintenance staff. So the ADD, how that kind of works, and I only learnt this the other day really, is on top of pantographs there are carbon heads, like carbon brushes and electric motors, but they're big long strips, and they're meant to wear out. That's sort of the purpose of them, so you don't wear metal out and doesn't wear the wires, the overhead wires, too quickly either. And underneath where they're fitted there's actually a channel of air, and what happens is if the carbon brushing, if the carbon strips are broken or chipped or anything like that, or there's damaged, the air pressure will release from underneath them, from this channel underneath, and that will activate the auto dropping device. So like we were talking about that spring, that air spring that pushes the pantograph up, when those carbon brushes are hurt or damaged, hurt, funny way to say it, the air pressure will release from there and the spring will go down, the pantograph will go down. So that's how the ADD works. That's pretty much on all modernish units. I'm not too sure about this 317 because if you look, they've got like a Y-shaped one. That's an AMBR pantograph, which I don't know masses about, if I'm honest with you. So we've got greens, excellent. So once the power's come down the pantograph, it goes through what's called a vacuum circuit breaker, or a VCB, and that basically connects the pantograph to the rest of the train. Can't go first, it's got to second. The VCB is a standard item that will open in the following circumstances. So remember, if it's closed, it's putting power through. If it's open, it's not letting power through. So reasons that the VCB will open are as follows. When the pan down push button is pressed. When entering the neutral section, loss of air pressure to the VCB, so anything below 3.4 bar. Primary or secondary overloads on the transformers and windings. Operation of the controls device, the main transformer, let's do pressure, we'll get into that later on. The traction current control circuit breaker, TCCB, trips on the PMS vehicle. I should be driving, not reading. There's an earth fault developed on any of the power cables or the traction motor overload relay trips. So when the VCB opens, it won't lower the pantograph, it just stops the pantograph from taking any power. Single yellow there. Oh, that's a short signal section there, isn't it? Because there is literally 317 there. So there's not a lot between us. Each driving compartment is equipped with a VCB tripped indicator light, which is there. It will illuminate when any VCB on any PMS vehicle in the train is open. The indicator light will flash if the pantograph drops due to an operation of the pantograph auto dropping device. So if it's ADD, it will flash, and if it's just open, it will stay normal. It'll just sort of stay lit, solid light. So the main transformer on 321s is a step-down type, and it's oil-cooled, and the oil is circulated by a pump through a system of external pipes surrounding the transformer. If the oil gasses, so if it actually heats up too much and turns to gas, or the circulation system becomes airlocked, the boot child's relay will open, and the VCB, which under these circumstances cannot be reset. The VCB will open, sorry, it can't be reset. If the oil temperature becomes excessive, power to the traction motors will be cut off and the fault light will illuminate. So basically, if the oil gets too hot and starts to gas off, the boot child's relay will open and cut everything out, and same as if the circulation becomes blocked or airlocked. So the 4 traction motors are thyristor controlled from the driver's 4-notch power controller. So notch 1 is for shunting, notch 2 provides half voltage, notch 3 will then give full power, and notch 4 will give weak field. Weak field will give you the maximum strength out of the motors for maximum speed. So what that does is plays about the field windings to get a little bit more out of the motors, basically. So that's what weak field does. I'm not massively up to speed on it, if I'm honest with you. I kind of understand it. Another thing that the 321s have is WSP. So in some instances WSP stands for wheel slip protection, and then there's wheel slide protection and wheel spin protection according to this manual. Depends on what manual you read, if I'm honest. So the wheel spin protection detects when wheel spin and counteracts it automatically by returning the power controller equipment to the lowest step. When wheel spin ceases, the power is notched up again. Also, it's automatically done to a level that's set by the power controller. So say I had the power controller in step 3, say, and I was getting wheel spin, the train would automatically lower it down to step 1, and then when it got grip and realised it could do it, put it back up to 3 without me having to touch the power controller. Wheel slide protection is very like ABS on your car. So there's little dump valves on each brake cylinder, and what they do is when it feels that the wheels lock up, it's a little optical sensor that senses the wheels spinning, and if it's going slower or locks up, it will dump a little bit of the air to release the air so that the wheel can get a traction again. You'll notice in train sim, if you see your speed going up and down real quick on the speedo. That's generally because the speedo only reads from the front cab, so the bogey's underneath the cab. So you only really know what the front wheels are doing. You've got no real idea what's going on with the rest of your train, so you just have to let the WSP do its bit. On older units, you had to sort of what they called fanning the brakes, which is putting them on, taking them off, putting them on lightly, taking them off again. The WSP can act much quicker than any human can because it knows exactly what's going on throughout the train. So therefore, drivers are always told to let the WSP do its thing. It's very rare I get to do a bit of parallel running. Not driving in London so much and doing commuter routes. It tends to be a bit of a novelty for me. It's quite weird doing this route while reading, because I very rarely got to drive this end of this route just due to frame rate problems more than anything. So I'm having to concentrate a little bit harder because I'm not sure what's coming. I know what's coming in real life because I do the Liverpool Street route quite often, but not necessarily in train sim. So it looks like we're clear to cross over. I'll just try and put my frame rate counter up for you guys. So I'm not doing too badly. I mean, I used to be down at sort of under 15 frames per second here, and at the moment I'm at 36, 37, dropping down to about 25 at times. I've also changed OBS. I realised I was running a 32-bit version of OBS, so I was sharing my RAM with Train Sim and OBS at 32-bit, so they were both trying to use 4 gigs of RAM, because that's the maximum 32-bit programs can use. But I've now got 64-bit OBS, and it's OBS Studio, so it might be slightly different, and I've just come in here far too fast. So hopefully these videos should be slightly improved. Any comments on the voice and things, please let me know during this series. If it's too high or a bit echoey. Some of the tests I did made me sound like I was in a toilet a little bit. I quite like the thought of that, but I haven't played Train Sim in the toilet since I haven't had a laptop. So, pulling into Liverpool Street. So this will be forming I think it's an 0610 or 0620 departure out of Liverpool Street, which will be the next video. In that video we'll go through some more bits and pieces. We'll go over to the working instructions, and that will tell us more about doors, braking, all that sort of thing. More about the systems on the train, which I'm quite looking forward to. So I'll play to the end of the scenario. I'll stop the train and wait for it to say we're done before I end. We'll also go through a bit of the history behind the one livery and things like that in the next couple of videos. Alright, brakes in full service, reverse in neutral. Actually, that can go to off now. Thanks ever so much for watching. Feel free to like, share and subscribe, and we'll be moving on to the departure of this service in the next video. Cheers guys.